81.
81% of people to 95, it depends on where you look, fail their diet. How do you like this shirt? I like this shirt. It's got little bears on it. My cat, I used to call her Little Bear. So 81% of people fail to lose, well, they'll lose weight, but then they gain it back. So 81% roughly fail to diet. Now, why is that? Is it, genetically, retarded, or genetically, shafted, or is it bad willpower? What causes this? What causes 81% of people to lose a little bit of weight and then gain it all back again? What causes that, All right, so here it is, either 80 to 95, and some say 65% of people fail their diet. So I rounded it off to 81% just to do the math for you. And so this kind of a sequel, I guess, to my last video that I made about calories, and do calories matter? And I really don't think they do. And one of the things that you watch with dieting is there's a couple of different directions that people like to go. Is they like to try the starvation nation, so they'll starve themselves, they'll over exercise. That's when you start seeing all these crazy exercises in the gym, people doing burpees while holding kettlebells. And I saw one the other day where this guy was doing squats with a safety bar and trying to do deadlifts at the same time, and then all of a sudden he's wondering why he's on the ground and like his neck was broken. So you've got that crowd, and then you've got the other crowd that they do the Mediterranean diet, or the healthy fats, or whatever it is, portion control. It's all over the place, and it just doesn't need to be this way. And another thing that a problem with here in America, I'll show you a couple of nutrition labels that you can see here, and I'll show that to you in a second here. So let's get into that. All right, so I'm not going to read off all the ingredients to everybody, but as you go through these little slides that I have here for you, look at how many more ingredients are in the U.S. version versus, UK and most of these, some in Canada. But look at how many more ingredients are in our stuff, and people wonder why we have so much harder of a time in America losing weight than in other countries. Look at the crap that's in this food. Even if you get oatmeal, they got like whey protein and everything in it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why do we need yellow 5, 6 and whatever in orange juice? I mean, shouldn't the oranges be the one flavor or coloring it? So as you can see, here in America, they like to add a whole lot more preservatives, terrible food coloring, so that doesn't help people. But what causes this? What causes this phenomenon that 81%, I'm calling it 81%, it's like 80 to 95, 81% fail to diet. I would say the majority of these people are trying to starve themselves to death. And then you get channels like mine. I lost 150 pounds, phenomenal hair, great shirt. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. But you get channels like mine. I lost 150 pounds, kept it off. Still got a little ways to go. But then you see in the comment section, and we see you, I see you, we all see you, the people pushing this starvation. The last video I made, somebody came in there and said, well, just eat 1,900 calories and do 2 hours of cardio a day, like some arbitrary number, like that means anything to everybody. Stupid shit like that is going to get you absolutely nowhere but in the column of the 81% of failed diets. Oh, this is a sweet bike. Can we capture this guy on this bike? Yes, we can. Look at that. I'm in like a total bike community. This is actually one of the areas you've seen me ride my bike. So, they follow this advice, but the body is not interested in you starving yourself. The body is interested in getting the amount of calories that you need to get through the day. And, we see that they're going to be in the comments. Watch the imposters in the comments section on this video. They're going to be in there telling you eat your little 1,900 calories, have no videos up. Nobody knows what these people look like. probably, you know, sitting in mommy's basement, hating the world, telling everybody to starve themselves because that's what they do. And they're probably part of the 81% and they're just mad at everybody else. So you can do that, or you can actually eat a diet that is beneficial to you. You know, the high carb, low fat. Now I know I've added a little bit of fat in lately, but we're not talking a lot of fat here. We're just talking, instead of 10 grams a day, maybe 20 grams a day. You know, I like the Doug Graham, the 80-10-10 program. That's actually how I got started, because Arnold was pushing the 80-10-10. If you don't know who Arnold is, he's the guy that got me started in this. I don't want to tell the story again, but that's what got me started. And I was eating 78,000 calories a day. I really didn't track it often, but I could track it just by how much I was buying a week. And I was losing a pound a day. Now that was raw. And that brings me to the next thing. I think what people really run into is an inability to eliminate what you eat.
That's it.
All right, it's getting a little windy out here, so hopefully you can actually hear me. But I wanted to get back to this because the reason you're failing is because you can't eliminate what you're eating. And if you can't eliminate what you're eating, your liver gets screwed up, your lymphatic system gets clogged, you can't digest anything, your digestion gets clogged, and you just keep gaining weight. Now, even if you're eating a healthy, high carb, low fat diet. And so what happens is, maybe you need to change things up. Maybe if you've been eating nothing but rice, maybe switch to potatoes or something like that. Or if you're just eating rice, maybe add, some sauteed cabbage into that or something. There's chances are that it's being caused by your body's inability to eliminate what you eat. And all disease, all obesity comes from the body's inability to get rid of what you've eaten. It's residue. So that's why the raw food diet works so well, is there's so little residue to actually get rid of. So maybe that's another option for you if you're having a really hard time losing weight, is just to switch over to a nice street, raw food for a little while, see how that goes. Or just stick with the high carb, low fat and just change it up. If you want the cooked, just change it up. But that is my conclusion. That was my conclusion in the last video. I know a lot of, armchair warriors were coming in there and saying, just starve yourself, basically. And the reason, never got to it, the reason that doesn't work is because your body needs carbohydrates. Doesn't need anything else. It needs carbohydrates. Well, it obviously needs some protein, some fat. But there is, people don't get rushed to the hospital for a lack of fat or a lack of protein. They get rushed to the hospital if they go hypoglycemic, because that can be fatal. You go into a coma first and then you might die from it. But that doesn't happen with fat and protein. So concentrate on the carbohydrates. Maybe you concentrate on the source of carbohydrates. Maybe if you're eating a lot of bread and oatmeal, like you saw in the slides that I showed earlier, a lot of that stuff has got these additives in it that might actually be screwing you up. Your body can't process that. All right, so I wanted to expand on the video that I started filming yesterday. I realized that, people are going to come on here and say they know somebody who's, done the starvation plan. And I understand, obviously it works. There's anorexics in the world. There was the Schindler's List type people. There was, people who do it. Some of my family members over the years, they would starve themselves. They were always miserable and always on coffee, but they did it. I actually think I have a cousin that's doing that right now. He lost a bunch of weight, but he doesn't really look healthy. Getting attacked. And, so you can do it, obviously. I'm just trying to help everybody get to a healthy weight by healthiest means possible. So keep it as natural as possible. I know that kind of sounds boring, especially if you're coming from the Taco Bell Dorito life, but see how it works. But now if you are coming from that life and you switch to like high carb, low fat, I mean, you should lose the weight quick. But if you're not, something else is going on. You know, I don't want to get into too much of the blood work right now, but chances are something's going on with your hormone levels. And I'm liking this shirt. And that's it. Can't think of much else. When you see nature out here, they're not out here, all these squirrels, they're not out here counting calories. They just eat. And they eat the diet they're supposed to. And if you're too low in carbohydrates, and you can die from that, chances are that's what you're supposed to be eating. If your brain, if your liver, if all your organs run 95% off carbohydrates, chances are that's what you should be eating, not this keto life. And to those who are like, well, you still got weight to lose. That might be true, but I still kept 150 pounds off. And this is usually coming from somebody, we have no idea what they look like, just armchair warriors. Look at this nature. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Even if you didn't, give it a like, subscribe. Talking about this awesome shirt, my hair, whatever it takes. But anyway, you know, reality is it's high carb, low fat, 80-10-10. If that's not working, maybe even less fat. But if it's not working for extended periods of time, really look at what you're doing. If you're eating a lot of packaged stuff, there's so many preservatives and colors in that, especially if you're in America. That might be the problem. Or you're still not eating enough. You still might have that bug in your head that says, gotta starve myself. Or you read the comments of the nameless telling you what to do, showing you absolutely no pictures of themselves. You might still have them in the back of your head saying, oh, I gotta starve myself, go do exercise. It's just building more and more of a deficit. And you're just gonna be part of the 81%. All right, so I'm at the end of a walk here, and I really want to actually add this into it. It got so windy that I didn't want to do it out there because you can't hear me. But I think exercise is a really good thing. Now, I know you can't out-exercise a good or a bad diet, and you can lose weight just by diet alone. But if you are having an elimination problem, walking is like the best thing that you can possibly do. Then probably second best is rebounding, and those two are like as good as you're going to get. I don't think cycling is good for it at all, just because of the position you're in. But some people do find it good for that. So anyway, I wanted to add that in because I really think that you should be exercising to some level, whether it's just walking to go get stuff or riding to go get stuff or jumping on the trampoline while you're watching TV at night, something like that. And when I say, you know, exercising, find something that you actually like to do. You know, don't force yourself to do exercises that you absolutely can't stand. Or, you know, the latest craze is, you know, going to your local Planet Fitness wearing, you know, your Crocs and your pajamas. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is. And if that's not your thing, if you don't want to be wearing pajamas and Crocs at the gym, waiting in line for the bench press, you know, don't do it. I'm out here getting attacked by whatever these are. And I'd much rather be doing this, even though, you know, I did the gym thing for 25 years or so. It's just not my thing anymore. You know, I would never really want to do it again. You know, I think about returning here and there, but I just know my addictive personality, and I just know that I couldn't just be a generalist with it. And it just takes too much energy from your life. It's distracting. You know, you don't get other things done. You don't go places. You don't do things. So find something that you like, but isn't going to absorb your life in a way that you don't want it to. Man, look at this. Somebody built a deck in the middle of nowhere here. Another thing is, I'm also not saying to force feed yourself food. You know, some people think I've said that over the years. That was Durian Rider. It has nothing to do with me. I don't think that's a very good idea either. I think that you should just eat until you're full and then be done with it. You know, don't force feed yourself. So that's what I have to say about that. Last thing that I really wanted to talk about, probably for now anyway, is that you really, man, this is crazy looking. I'm gonna turn this camera around. I don't know if it's crazy looking, but it's cool looking. I'm on the deck. Sun's out. Bun's out. All right, so sun's out, bun's out, right? But the last thing I really wanted to talk about is if you did everything I said and you're like, well, I'm not losing weight and blah, 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 blah. You know, really look at your hydration, your sleep schedule. If you're sleeping like 3 hours a day or something like that, or, you know, you're always peeing like bright yellow or brown almost, chances are real good that chances are 100% that you are dehydrated and you're not going to digest well if you're dehydrated. So that could be another hang up. You know, one of the things you might want to do that's worked for a lot of people is if you are hungry, maybe drink some water, because you might actually be dehydrated. They say that if you're dehydrated, you feel it in your gut, and if you're hungry, you feel it in your throat. I kind of know what they're talking about. I've had that before in the past. So that's something that you can look out for as well. So there's many things. That's why I'm starting the coaching group. Well, I've really started. I did the files. I just really need to know what other things people might need. But I'm going to do that as we get started here. But anyway, I think that's all I mean, of course you can be the anorexic if you want to do that. That's your thing. But it's not a healthy thing. I'm trying to help people do it the healthiest way possible. Don't be part of the 81%. Talk to you in the next one. Oh, like, subscribe, comments. They do everybody good.